सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Hari Om, salutations to all. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, we have been seeing about the description of Bhumandala. And the Bhumandala is not limited only to earth as we understand. This description is of this plane of awareness. And so we find here that the 7 worlds above and 7 worlds below, they are also a part of this. And this entire Srishti in that way is being upheld by Anantanaga, is what the description comes. So after the 24th chapter, where the lower 7 worlds were described, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and Patal, each of those we have seen in detail. This whole thing is supported by Anantanag. So I'm again going to share that picture that just gives a brief view. So here we have, this is whole thing is Bhumandala. So Vaikuntha, and then the 5 elements, then the 7 worlds. In that, so Satyaloka, Tapoloka, Janaloka, Maharloka, Dhruvaloka. Then we have Saptarishi Mandal. Then we have various planets. Then we have 28 nakshatras. Then the moon, the Rahu, Ketu, sun, all these. This is the Sumeru mountain. This is Bhuloka. This is in between is Bhuvarloka. And all the other worlds above. Then below are those 7 other worlds, the nether worlds, what we call. So Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and Patal. Below these are the 28 types of hell. That will come in the next chapter. And this whole thing is supported on just one hood of Anantanaga. The glory of Bhagawan Ananta is being described here in the 25th chapter. So the idea here is, see, we have to remember this portion. 5th canto is about Sthanam. So we saw the second chapter, first skandha is Adhikari skandha, about the qualified students. So Parikshit Raja and the whole context of Bhagavatam and how Shukadevji comes and starts narrating, all that we saw. 7 days he is going to die, Parikshit Maharaj, and he wants to know the truth. And so Parikshit Maharaj is sitting on the banks of Ganga without eating food, etc. And there Shukadevji comes and Parikshit Raja asks questions. Then second skandha we saw is Sadhana skandha, where different sadhanas are given, as well as the creation, Bhagwan in the form of the creation and how the creation came about, everything was said. Then from there we also saw the 10 lakshanas. In the second canto we have 10 lakshanas of a Mahapuran. Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Poshanam, Utayaha, Vamshanucharita, like that there are 10 aspects which a Mahapurana will cover. Purana will cover only 5. Mahapurana will cover 10. Srimad Bhagavatam is a Mahapurana. So now the balance chapters 3, 4, 5 up to 12, they are about one aspect of these 10. So first was Sarga, third skanda. Then Visarga, secondary creation. Sarga is primary creation, Visarga is secondary creation. So we saw in Sarga we saw about the Chatushloki Bhagavat and how Brahmaji was created, and then Brahmaji meditated, and then Chatushloki Bhagavat was given by Bhagavan. Then he starts the creation. Then Visarga we see in the fourth canto. So that is Brahmaji's creation. And in that, four Purusharthas, specifically for human beings. So four Purusharthas, and for each Purushartha we saw a different prasang. And now in the fifth one, it is called Sthanam. So where is this whole creation situated? So the whole creation is in Bhagwan. The purpose is not to find out really is there a Sheshanag supporting this and all these worlds physically there. The purpose is to understand that the substratum of the whole thing is the infinite consciousness, Ananta. That infinite consciousness appears as all these. So what is the sthanam for the rope, for the snake? The illusory snake is being seen by us as real. So what is the sthanam for it? It is the rope. This illusory creation is being seen by us. What is the substratum? Is Ananta, is infinite consciousness. Also, please remember, yes, though we say that from Vedantic standpoint, Ananta is infinite consciousness appearing as all these, by itself does not dismiss the existence of the realms of consciousness like the seven higher worlds, lower worlds, 28 hells and all that. In the relative plane, how real is this for us? If this creation is real for us, that real are the other planes of consciousness also. Only difference is here we are experiencing this Srishti with our gross body, gross senses. So we see the gross. While being in this body also, one can experience subtler things if the buddhi becomes, mind and intellect becomes more and more subtler. So many bhaktas, they get the capacities to travel between the worlds. Those siddhis are there to enter into somebody else's body, parakaya pravesha, to understand the thoughts of somebody else. They have certain mastery over 5 elements, so they can walk on water, fire will not burn them. All that is there. That's a sadhana. If one does, one will attain some of those. But the point also is to understand that at this level, if we are identified with the body, mind, intellect, then all this is real. And there will be karma which will influence us, affect us. What we do, it will create our future. All that is true. In many of these detailings about which world, what is there and what is the description, and we try to correlate with today the scientific knowledge that we have. Wherever possible it matches is wonderful, but we should also know that the purpose of this, we don't need science to validate this. This is not in the realm of science actually, because this is beyond, and that's why Shastra is the valid means. And if Shastra says this is so, it is so, because great masters have experienced it, written down about it, and if we want, we can do those sadhanas and we can also experience. But their objective was what? To make us know our true self. So keeping that in mind, we go into this chapter where Bhagavan Ananta is being described. Again, just like we have seen in various varshas, Hari Varsha, Kim Purusha Varsha, all those varshas, we saw Bhagavan is worshipped in different ways. Ananta Bhagavan is worshipped as the substratum of all, this Bhumandala. So we find here the description is given. So we will have a form of Bhagavan, we have the mantra, we'll have the qualities of the Lord, all that, just like any other form. See, you saw in the Ilavrata Varsha, Bhagwan Shiva is the key inhabitant, and the presiding deity of that is Sankarshana. So the Stuti, etc., also we saw how Lord Sankarshana is being praised by Bhagwan Shiva. That Sankarshana only is also Lord Ananta, who is supporting this entire Bhumandala. So here we find it starts that Lord Ananta or Sankarshana is none other than Amsha Avatar of Bhagwan, Mahavishnu. Amsha Avatar means one small part of Bhagwan's infinite glory manifests in a certain way for a certain purpose. And so when we say Amsha Avatar, it means what? It means that Bhagwan only, not different from Bhagwan, but one small part has manifested. Suppose we say, just an example, one hair, one nail, small, in forensics and all that they do, no? So if a hair is found, any body part or a skin or any of that is found, then from there they can find out whose it is, and they will do DNA test and all that, and they can establish it is this person. So like that, Amsha Avatar is one small part of Bhagwan. Is none other than Bhagwan. So when we say Ananta Naga is supporting, our idea that Ananta is the base on which Bhagwan Vishnu reclines. That is one understanding. Here we say that Ananta is avatar of Bhagwan himself. So Bhagwan only is Ananta. Like Vishnu Bhagwan is Krishna, Vishnu Bhagwan is Rama, Vishnu Bhagwan is Varaha, Kurma. All that is same Mahavishnu. Same way Ananta also is Mahavishnu. So who is the substratum of this creation? Mahavishnu. In the form of Ananta. So that's why it is Ananta or Sankarshana is the Amsha avatar of Bhagwan. And where is he? So 30,000 yojanas below Patal. So we saw the 7 lower regions, the lowest is Patal, 30,000 yojanas below. Why is that gap required? Because the 28 hellish planets are there in between Patal and Anantanag. And he is called as Tamasi. So Tamasi means we think lazy, lethargic, indolent, careless. But Tamas is one guna which is also required. In the sleep, when we go to sleep, it is because of tamas we go to sleep. And what happens in that? When we go to sleep, all our waking experiences, dream experiences, we let go and then we go into sleep. As though everything folds back into this state, and then we again come out of that sleep, again everything manifests. So tamas is one aspect required for the creation, sustenance. Then only it will go back into this state of destruction, and again from there it will come back. So destruction here, it is unmanifest, becomes unmanifest, again becomes manifest. In the gross terms, yes, we say that there is a way in which this whole thing will be destroyed, either through pralaya or through fire or through wind, one of the things, and the physical world will actually also be destroyed. And then pralaya happens, and then again the srishti will start. So that entity who is responsible for the destruction to happen, so he is the Lord who is not only sustaining the world, as you will see on one of the heads of this Ananta Bhagavan, the whole Bhumandala is like a mustard seed. So he is sustaining it also, creating, sustaining, he is only destroying it. So from that destructive aspect, he is called as uh, Tamasi. Though the fact we should remember is Bhagavan is beyond creation, sustenance, and destruction. The substratum is never affected by the superimposition. That's a simple Siddhant in Vedanta. The rope is never affected by the snake. The water in the desert will never wet the sand. The mirage water, I mean. That mirage will not wet the sand because it actually does not exist. But you and I see it and it appears to exist, then we say no, it is not real, it is illusory. So here also, Bhagwan may be in charge of creation, sustenance, and destruction, yet at the same time he remains transcendental. Like the waker remains transcendental, does not get affected by the dream creation, sustenance, and destruction. Waker is still waker, unaffected by whatever is happening in the dream. Example limitation is there. Don't say that Swamiji, when I get up sometime from the dream, then I have palpitation. That is a limitation of example because the mind body are connected in some ways. So that mind, if it goes through something, then it comes into waking from that state of shock. Then one has the effect on the body. That's a limitation of example. Screen or the scenes of the movie, they are a better example in that context. The screen remains white before the movie, during the movie, after the movie does not get affected by anything. But without it, we can't see the movie. So that way. So Tamasi. Then Sankarshana. So he is called as Sankarshana. Why? Because he is the presiding deity of the false ego and draws together Sankarshana. Akarshana, like that Sankarshana. Samyak Karshana. Karshana means to draw. So it draws together what? The enjoyer and the object of enjoyment. The entity wants to enjoy and the object. Suppose I want to eat Rasgulla, then I am the enjoyer, Rasgulla is the object. So one who, with the sense of I, small I, which is called as false I. If you remember in Bhagavatam earlier, we have seen Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Sankarshana. These are different aspects of the subtle body, presiding deities of the subtle body. They are for the Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar. So the Ahankar, the deity here is Sankarshana. And it is because of this small I only the creation appears real to us and destruction and everything appears real to us. The one who is presiding deity of that small I is Sankarshana. So when we worship Bhagavan Sankarshana, what are we trying to do? Let go of this small I and realize in that infinite Ananta, if the whole creation is like a mustard seed, what is that Ananta then? And Vedanta is saying Ananta is you, infinite consciousness. We are Ananta actually, in our true nature, where there is no Srishti only, there is no duality of creation, creature, creator, none of it. That Ananta is our true self. So here this Ananta Bhagavan is responsible for the destruction as well as small I. And if you see the parallel in that context, in our waking state also, wherever this little ego is there and it keeps asserting itself and I, me and mine, it becomes very insensitive and destructive only. So much violence happens in relationships, at workplace, physical abuse happens, emotional torturing happens, intellectual exploitation happens. Wars are happening between countries. Why? Because of this small I, ego. And ego is destructive. So now the glory of Ananta Bhagavan is indicated by saying that this entire Bhumandala is situated on one of the hoods of the 1,000 hoods of Ananta Bhagavan and appears like a white mustard seed. White mustard. We have seen black, dark mustard, no? This rye. This is white mustard, small little thing. The whole Srishti, you look at the millions of yojanas, what is given, and all the different levels, one small little mustard seed. That is Ananta Bhagavan. And now when Ananta Bhagavan decides to create this pralay, to destroy the worlds, then what does he do? Then from between his two moving eyebrows appears the three-eyed angry Rudra with 11 expansions carrying a trident. So Ekadasha Rudra, they will manifest from Ananta Bhagavan with trident, and they will burn, destroy the whole creation. Sometimes it is also said from the mouth of Ananta Bhagavan fire rises and the whole Srishti will be burnt. Like how water will flood the whole earth, and that is one way of pralay. In that way, the fire comes out from Ananta Bhagavan's mouth, and then whole Srishti is burnt, roasted. And don't have a doubt now, from 1,000 eyebrows, which eyebrow के बीच में से Rudra will come out. That eyebrow on which, that hood on which this whole creation is like a small mustard. From that hood. And the whole Srishti will be burnt, destroyed, either Rudra, and Rudra will create pralay in his own way. Please remember, this is Bhagavatam. The glory of Bhagavan Vishnu will come out here. If you see Shiv Puran, there will be some other description of Rudra. So Brahmaji, in some Puran it will be written that Brahmaji created 11 Rudras and 11 Rudranis to populate this earth. Here it is written these Rudras will destroy the universe. Don't get confused. The same truth appears in different ways, and the purpose of it is different in different Puranas, to bring bhakti in the mind of that particular type of devotee. Don't say this is very confusing. Here Rudra is creating and populating, there Rudra is destroying everything. Here Brahmaji created, here Sankarshana created. What is the difference? Why it is like this? There Shivji has to be glorified, Brahmaji is glorified, here Vishnu Bhagavan is glorified. So we have to remember that particular objective and then understand. Now he goes on to say that what is the form of Ananta Naga, Ananta as Bhagavan, because devotees can meditate on that form. So he says here that so many bhaktas as well as so many nagas, they all offer their obeisance to Bhagavan Sankarshana. They become very joyful upon seeing their own beautiful faces with the glittering earrings. Where do they see that? They see their reflection in the toenail of the lotus feet of Ananta Bhagavan. Huh? Ananta Bhagavan has toe also. Has a snake. He thought snake has only hood and tail, hood and the body and the tail. Where is the toenail coming here now? Our mind is limited by our, what you call, understanding of the creation. For us, we have a certain fixed thing in our mind that snake has to be like this. Maybe longer, maybe shorter, different types of snakes, cobra is there, python is there, viper is there, all that. But all of them have same structure. They don't have a bone. They have hood. They have that forked tongue, and they slither. Where is the toenail coming here now? So we should remember Ananta is the Bhagavan personified also. He has 1,000 hoods, no doubt. But he also has a specific form, which is what is being described. In this form, he has a toe. He has toes, sorry. And so those who are bowing down to Ananta Bhagavan, they see their own face reflected with glittering earrings in the mirror of the gem-like brilliant pink toenail of Bhagwan's lotus feet. Pink toenail or that color also is given. Infinity in whichever form we conceptualize. The idea is for us to make the mind single pointed. And devotees who worship Bhagwan, so many different classes of beings worship Anand Bhagwan. We may say, who is worshipping Anand Bhagwan? So many of them worship. You will see Siddhas, Kinnaras, Gandharvas, Yakshas, Nagas, Devatas, even human beings, many worship. Now, it is also said here that when the young serpent princess, hoping for his blessing, smear his attractive long arms with a paste made of sandalwood and kumkum. So, see, he has arms also, he has toe, and he has 1,000 hoods. We should not think that it is only snake. He has the human form, and the 1,000 hood also will be there. Human form in the sense, not literally made up of these five elements like that, but like how we see head and the hands and the feet, that form. So when they apply sandalwood, kumkum, that touch awakens their lusty desires. When the Lord looks at them with a merciful smile, they become bashful and look upon his lotus face, beautified by reddish eyes, rolling in intoxication and delighted by love for his devotees. So the bhav here is lust towards any other being in the creation will pull us down. But if that arises for Bhagavan, then it will transform into devotion. And through that devotion, that devotee will get mukti. Lust arises when one sees physical form and when one wants to enjoy the physical form. There is some beauty there, there is something that the mind sees, it projects. Otherwise, this body is made up of what? Five elements which are inert. Whatever is inside this body is dirty, filthy, stinking. But Maya is like that. It projects this as a means of enjoyment, happiness, and all kinds of conditionings are there. All kinds of uh, all different types of pleasure, etc., that are even imagined by beings, and then people engage in it, and then mind will get conditioned with that. So it seeks. Most handsome, most beautiful is the Lord himself. So you will find all the forms of Bhagavan will be described like that for the devotee to understand. And the fact also that is not imagination, that is the truth. Suppose we say Bhagavan Ram, so it will be said Kandarpa Aganita Amita Chavinava Neela Neeraja Sundaram. Kandarpa Aganita, countless cupids. Bhagavan's glory, Bhagavan's beauty, handsomeness can't be described even if there are countless Kamdevs. Kamdev is supposed to be the most handsome. Mr. Universe is Kamdev only. The most handsome is Kamdev. But in front of Bhagavan, thousands of Kamdevs also put together can't describe the glory of Bhagavan. Now imagine, impact of Kamdev, we see some ordinary mortal creature in the creation and then we fall for that creature and love at first sight and I can't live without you and all that. This is one small little jiva. Looking at that jiva, we feel like this. Kamdev is much more glorious than this jiva. And Bhagwan is thousands and crores of Kamdevs put together also can't match the beauty of Bhagwan. Now, if you see Ramji, you see Krishna Bhagwan, you see Shivji, you see Devi, anybody, any great form, Hanumanji, Any great form you see, it will be described like that. The most handsome, most beautiful, most glorious, most powerful, infinite, that way. Same way Ananta Bhagavan also is described that looking at Ananta Bhagavan, the devotees, they feel the desire. So if lust is there in the mind, might as well turn it towards the Lord. And then what happens there? That's why he says that he when they look at his face and he has love for his devotees, that is pleasing to the devotee, and that lust will slowly go away, transform into bhakti. And that Bhagwan's job, it is Bhagwan only will do that. We surrender to Bhagwan. It is his job to cleanse our heart. It is his job to make us free from lust. It is his job to purify our mind and make us realize the oneness. Our bhav should be, I have surrendered to you, now you take it. And any of these kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, six vikaras are there, turn it to Bhagwan only. Then Bhagwan will take care of it. We try to find, we try to fight individually one. We are able to control one, the other rises. You try to control the one, other one, that other third one rises. There's no end. Best is surrender to Bhagwan, remember in Bhagavad Smriti. The rest of it Bhagwan will do. Now, this is the causeless mercy of Ananta Bhagwan on the Jivas. Now what comes? That Ananta Bhagwan resides in his abode, restraining his anger and intolerance until appropriate time. In the sense, for Pralay. So the demigods, the demons, Uragas, Siddhas, Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, sages, they all offer him prayers. That's why I said, so many worship Bhagwan. With joyful eyes, he pleases his associates, the heads of the demigods, by the sweetness of his graceful words. He has a blue cloth, one earring. See, one earring. If we think one earring, if you wear, it is fashion. When we were in college, in tennis, this Andre Agassi, he used to wear one earring and a ulta topi. For us, that was style at that time. Or one earring. First of all, men don't wear earrings. That is a conditioning. Earlier, our Sabhyata, Indian culture, men also used to wear earrings. But slowly that was limited only to women. And then this Andre Agassi started one earring and ulta topi that way. Oh, it was a rage. Everybody used to wear like that. But Bhagwan is the one who is having one earring first. See here. He has a blue cloth, one earring, a plow on his shoulder. That's why you see Balramji is avatar of Anantnag. So Balramji will also have a plow. So plow on his shoulders, well-placed arms, golden belt around his waist, a Vaijayanti garland of ever-fresh tulsi around his neck. This is the form of Ananta Bhagavan. Now all this is given so that one can meditate, fix the mind, make it single-pointed, surrender. Then, for the person who hears his glories and meditates upon him, what does he do? He enters the core of their heart, vanquishes the contamination of the three gunas. That's why I said Bhagavan's job it is, he will do. We have to surrender, open up. Now, these are all again figurative descriptions. Open up the heart and then Bhagavan will enter and then he will vanquish the three gunas. How? The idea is Bhagavan is already there in our heart. But we have turned outside, we have forgotten Bhagavan. So we turn within, we remember Bhagavan is in my heart and I surrender to the Lord and I let go of this small ego and Bhagavan will take care of the rest. So these three gunas because of which we get bound and this small I also functions in three gunas. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So the fourth state of awareness, Turiya, is called Gunatita, beyond the three gunas. Hence, Bhagavan is the one who will help the jiva to go beyond the three gunas. How? So the third line says, cut the knot of ignorance, tied tightly by the impressions of karma since time immemorial. Anadikala karma vasana grachitam. Bhagwan's main purpose is that all bhakti is meant to destroy this asakti we have, attachment we have towards the body, mind, intellect, with the notion that I am this jiva. That is avidya. That Bhagwan destroys. So Narad glorifies Ananta in Brahma's assembly using his. So Naradji and even Tamburu Rishi, they glorify Bhagwan Ananta in the Sabha of Brahmaji. This is the beauty of Ananta Bhagwan. This is what he will do. Tamburu is a great rishi, and some places they have written as though Naradji on his Tanpura, Tambura, he is singing the glory, but actually he's a rishi also. We saw this even in the Bhagavad Mahatmyam, no, where uh, when Gokarna is narrating the Bhagavatam, so many great rishis, everybody has come there. Even when Shukadevji Maharaj, when he is narrating Bhagavatam to Parikshit Rishi, so many Mahatmas Rishis, Vedavyasji himself comes, then Naradji and Tamburu Rishi also come. So that way, this is the description given here that Tamburu Rishi, Tamburu comes there. So here it is written that the glorious Naradji, the son of Brahma, duly extolled on one occasion with uh, Tumburu, sorry, my mistake. Tumburu, not Tamburu. So Tumburu is a celebrated Gandharva, but supposed to be a great Bhakta in the court of Brahmaji. And what is that? That is this. That Ananta Bhagwan is, what is that glorification? That is what is coming now. That Ananta Bhagwan is the cause of creation, maintenance and destruction of the universe. By his glance, the gunas become capable of acting, meaning the gunas are Prakriti. Prakriti by itself is Jada. The enlivening has to happen by the presence of consciousness. Then the Prakriti starts functioning. His form is eternal since it is never created. Any form of Bhagavan will be eternal. He is one but manifested in many forms. How can one understand his nature? Meaning, this is incomprehensible by the human buddhi, limited intellect. The manifestation of subtle and gross matter exists within him. Out of causeless mercy to give pleasure to the hearts of his devotees, he exhibits various transcendental forms and leelas, pastimes. If a sinful person chants Lord Ananta's name after hearing it, or chants suddenly, or out of some suffering, or even in a joking mood, he becomes purified, and anyone who hears him is also freed from all sins. The idea is to encourage the jiva to take the name of Bhagavan. The idea is not to say that anyhow, any place, anywhere, someone can take the name, it's all right. Rather than not taking at all, any way one takes Bhagwan's name, it will be purifying, it will help that person to get out of sins. But the idea is not to say that, the Shastra, when it says that you sit quietly, properly after taking bath and you do the japa, remember the name in a certain way. Before you start the japa, do the, Viniyoga, Nyasa, Dhyan, all that. That is a proper method of the japa sadhana. But sometimes one doesn't know, the jiva is not aware of it. Even if one takes anyhow in such a context, this is said, then even then that person will be liberated. Like how we see, in the Shivratri story, we find one hunter goes up on the tree and he has to spend the night. He doesn't want to fall asleep. Jungle is dangerous, so he keeps plucking the bilwa leaves and keeps putting them on the ground. And down happens to be a Shivlinga, and that night happens to be Mahashivratri night. And he has not eaten anything in the whole day. He is hungry, he is thirsty, and he manages. And then it's late night. Now he can't return home. So he climbs up on the tree. So he has done upvas the whole day, and it was that Mahashivratri night, and he took the bilwa leaves, he worshipped Bhagwan. Idea is what? To say that even unconsciously, if one takes name of Shivji, if this can be the benefit, then consciously if one takes, how much more benefit will be there? Idea is not to say that, okay, we can also unconsciously just chant the name of Bhagwan anyhow, anywhere. That is a Mahima of Bhagwan Nam that is being brought out there. Same way here. The name of Bhagwan Ananta, anyone can take in any of these ways, after hearing about it, or one chants suddenly or out of suffering or in a joking mode, he becomes purified, and anyone who hears that person also will become purified. Therefore, how can anyone seeking liberation avoid chanting the name of the Lord Shesha? Then it is said, since Bhagwan is unlimited, who can count even with thousands of tongues the power of the Lord? Ananta Bhagavan himself has 1,000 tongues already, in the sense as the 1,000 hoods that he has. But even if any other individual who has 1,000 tongues glorifies Ananta Bhagavan, it is impossible. It's very interesting. In other contexts, it will be said that even Sheshanag cannot sing the glory of that particular form of Bhagavan. Like Tulsi Ramayana, if you see, it will be said that even Sheshanag cannot describe the glory of Bhagavan Ram. Hanuman Chalisa, it will be said, Narada Sarada Sahita Ahisa, Jama Kubera Dikpal Jahate, Kabi Kovid Kahi Sate Kahate. All of these people also can't describe glory of Hanumanji. In that Ahisa means Sheshanag. And now here for Sheshanag Bhagavan it is said, even if another Jiva who has 1,000 tongues, if they try to describe the glory of Sheshanag, it can't be described. That is Ananta. Ananta, how much can words describe? Words can't describe even simple finite feelings. Suppose we want to describe to somebody how much we love them. How much can that be described? Oh, I love you this much, I love you to the moon and the back, and something we keep creating. I love you till eternity, something like that we go on saying. But that can't make that person understand exactly how much one feels. Same way anger, you can apply to any feeling. Anger, what we say in anger, those words don't exhibit the amount of anger that is there. It can express one little bit. So even feelings, ideas, values, ideals, goals, one can't describe fully. And what to talk about Ananta, infinite, impossible. Yet the attempt is made so that using that we learn to surrender. So this is Ananta Bhagavan. The entire universe with its mountains, rivers, oceans, living beings is resting just like an atom, Anuvat, on one of his many thousands of hoods. Actually, this is what the scripture is saying here. Thousands of hoods, not 1,000 hoods. Countless hoods must be there, thousands of hoods. Ananta. There is no end to his great, glorious qualities. Indeed, his prowess is unlimited. Though self-sufficient, he himself is the support of everything. He resides beneath the lower planetary systems and easily sustains the entire universe. The purpose of saying that is like a small atom is there. You know how effortlessly Ananta Bhagavan supports the whole creation just like that. The whole creation like a small atom on his thousands of hoods. meaning what power it must be. Small things, I should not say small, like certain events that happen in the creation, in one part of the creation, they are only so massive for us. Earthquake happens somewhere, tsunami happens somewhere, hurricane is somewhere, you know. Today only I was seeing there was some video where it was said that last year in September, one of the largest, not one of the biggest landslide happened in this Greenland, where that ice, etc., is there, and that energy generated between the two ice mountains, etc., it is trapped. That landslide has happened, and that whole ice and the melting water and all that has got trapped. So it shook the earth actually for 9 days. This earthquake scientists have recorded that, and it created tsunamis which were the highest till now ever recorded, 200-meter long waves. But because it was between these two massive uh, ice ranges, it was there in between and it did not affect so much the rest of the world, except that that energy created little shake. So the seismograph now of the earthquake scientists that is recording that suddenly why there is so much of vibration shaking. Then they discovered some 15 20 scientists countries ka scientists together are doing research, and then they found out this is what happened. This is the first human induced tsunami because of human beings uh, various actions which are causing climate change. This landslide has happened there, and that has created this whole thing. Imagine that 200 meters height of waves, destructive, massive, it will destroy everything. That is one part of creation. Here, what is said, thousands of hoods which are there, in that one small atom is this full Srishti. What is the power of that Ananta? When we see one part of creation having so much power, one sun, how much power it is having? But like that, thousands of suns are there, and all that is a part of Bhumandal. It is one small atom on the hood of Anantanath. The idea is only this. We don't have to think that is it real or unreal. The fact is, the entire creation is one small little speck of the glory that is infinity. Even in the 10th chapter, Bhagavan says that Yadyad Vibhutimat Sattvam Srimad Urjitamevava Tattadeva Avagachatvam Mama Teja Amsha Sambhavam. This anything that is glorious in this whole creation, know that to be a small little speck of my infinite glory. Now it depends on us what we want to believe. We can say all this is not scientific, or we can say that Bhagavan is Ananta and we surrender to that Ananta Bhagavan, let go of the ego and come to experience infinity. Or be trapped in science. Use science to surrender, otherwise drop science. Useless it is if we don't, it doesn't bring about surrender. Science is the way to explain certain things about the universe, why certain things are happening. That's all it is. Beyond that, what is it? Of course, it makes certain conveniences, comforts happen. So we use technology, like we are using this phone or this computer to do satsang. Like that, we use technology, we use science, but it is not everything. It is one small part of this creation. So many things can't be explained by science. Ananta is infinite consciousness. So the idea of this whole chapter is only to understand that infinity. What is infinity? Through so many ways, the scripture tries to make us understand this is infinity. And why are we stuck with this small little ego when we can experience that infinity as a human being? Having got a human birth, we can drop the identification that I am a human and come to realize I am divine, I am infinite in my nature. So now this chapter he concludes by saying, Shukdev ji concludes, he tells Parikshit Raja that whatever I have heard, meaning this knowledge that Shukdev ji is passing on to Parikshit Raja is a knowledge that has come down in the Guru Parampara, Guru Shishya Parampara. So he has heard from his teacher, who has heard from his teacher, like that it goes up. Bhagavan is the Adi Guru. So he said, whatever I've heard from my authorities, from my gurus, that I've described, and all these different lokas and all that, the jiva attains this, the lokas above, lokas below, then the hellish planets, all this, the jiva attains as per what? As per the karma and as per their desires. Wherever that jiva goes is because the jiva has a desire, some karmic residue is there, or the jiva wants to experience something new. So through the desires, the jiva goes up and down in all this. Shukadevji concludes saying, okay, now I've explained, answered your questions. Now tell me, what else do you want to know? Then Parikshit Raja continues in the next chapter with a new question. That we will take up in our next satsang. For today, I will stop here. Any questions for today? Hmm. There is one question, okay. Yes, please.
Pranam Swamiji.
Hariom.
Swamiji wanted to know in that picture that you showed that, where is Prithvi, where is Earth? I couldn't see that.
1 minute. See here, this whole thing is called Bhumandala. Earth as an element is here. See here, you can see.
Oh, right. Okay, I thought those were the 5 elements. So, but that is
Yeah.
Earth also.
No. So that, yeah, so we have to understand Earth as a 5 element is here. Earth as a specific planet, that is what this is. This Bhumandala, when we see, now this Earth is on the center of the Earth is supposed to be this Mount Meru. And below the Earth, inside the Earth, below the Earth meaning down, is supposed to be this Atala, Vitala and all these. The 28 hellish planets and the 7 lokas. That will come in the next chapter also. So there will be a distance which is given, this many yojanas below. Now below meaning obviously it is below, not inside the earth somewhere if you dig. Below in the sense also we have to understand in terms of subtlety. So tapasya when one does, punya when one attains, then one goes to the higher worlds. These are realms of consciousness, Dhruva Loka, Maharloka, Janaloka and all these. And if one does not do enough tapasya, has a lot of papa karma, etc., then one will go to the 28 hellish planets. So up and down is in terms of evolution also. So here you see there given, this is Bhuvar Loka. This in between Loka is called Bhuvar Loka, and this Bhu Loka is supposed to be Bhur Loka, is what is supposed to be the earth. Bhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, then Maha, Janaha, Tapa, Satyam. These are 7 higher. Then 7 lower, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, all that. And yes, that earth up there is the element. Earth, water, fire, air, space, those are the elements.
Okay. Thank you, Swami.
Okay.
मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की, मंगल प्रीति रीति धूम की, मंगल कांति हसनी दसनन की, मंगल मुरली दीना धुन की, मंगल आरती। मंगल बणिक त्रिभंगी हरि की, मंगल सेवा सब सहचर की, मंगल सिर चंद्रिका मुकुट की, मंगल छवि नयन में अटकी, मंगल आरती। पभी अंग अंग की, मंगल गौर श्याम रंग की, मंगल अति कटि पियरे पट की, मंगल चितमणि नागर नट की, मंगल आरती। मंगल शोभा कमल नयन की, मंगल माधुरी मृदुल पैन की, मंगल वृंदावन मद अटकी, मंगल क्रीडन जमुना तट की, मंगल आरती। मंगल चरण अरुण तरुवन की, मंगल करणी भगति हरिजन की, मंगल जुगल प्रिया बावन की, मंगल श्री राधा जीवन की, मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की, मंगल प्रीति रीति डोल की, मंगल आरती। मंगल आरती। राधावर कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्र तारकम्, नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयम् अग्निः, तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं, तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की।
ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।